Thanks, Eva, for joining me. My name is Kevin Anyango. I'm the founder of Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. The platform basically is about talking about those characteristics, or what you call employability skills, that employers are looking for. And today, I'm very honored to have Helen. Helen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It's such a pleasure to be on your platform today.
Well, listen, it is absolutely my honor. I mean, I know who you are. That's for sure. But if you just remind me asking, so you're an expert in communication. Is that
you know what? I'll take the compliment. Yes, I am in the communications field, and I love it so far. Yes.
And Helen, you are part of successful under 40 Kenyans. Is that true?
Yeah. So
how do you call it? How do you refer to that?
It's the top 40 under 40 women in Kenya, and I was named as one of the women in 2015 by the Business Daily.
Yes. And at that time, so you're that same, you're entrepreneur as well.
Yes. So I run a business on the side. It's called Tenders Kenya. It's an online platform that provides information on procurement opportunities available in Kenya for business people, really. Yeah.
Helen, tenderpreneurship, is that what you... So you're one of those people that have got money.
Well, it's one of the reasons I started the platform. So back in 2013, President Uhuru came into power, and he directed that 30% of government funding go into women, youth, and persons with disabilities. Right. And as a young person and as a woman listening to that news, I'm like, hey, if this is where the money is going to, then I'm headed there. So I formed my company, and I'm like, I'm ready, let's do this. But then I realized that the only place to get tenders is in the newspapers, and listening to or visiting people's websites on a daily basis, and it's very cumbersome, it's time consuming, it's very expensive. And I was curious as to why nobody has started a platform that accumulates all this information into one space, and that's when I started Tenders Kenya.
Right.
Yeah, so I started that was way back in 2014.
I see. And so this, you've heard about entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
And look, I know that's not the subject for today, but since you're here now, and this is a quite hot topic in Kenya, about tenders and who gets tender work. So you provide this information.
Yes.
And is it working, Helen?
It is working. It is working, I think, and it also relates very much to what you're going to talk about today. I think in terms of tenders, there's what you qualify for. I do this as my company, but if you don't network with the right people, if you don't know people, I'm very sorry. You might as well be sitting at your office every day. So it's networking. Networking.
Exactly, and we'll go straight to the point now. So, is networking overrated?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a life skill. Forget about it being a soft skill. I think networking is a life skill that everybody needs to build up on in order to be successful. And it's not just in the career. I mean, I've just mentioned business. You just don't form a company. You have to get out there and meet these procurement people, meet these CEOs and everything. And same thing for job creation. Same thing when you want to get ideas professionally in your industry line. Maybe if you're in communications, you want to reach out to other communication people in the industry. So, and to bounce off ideas with them relating to your work. So it's really very important for everyone to have this skill with them.
Well, so you say you don't just wake up and form a company. You need to know, well, again, which is on network. So you need to network for you to be successful. But so you need to know the right people for you to be successful.
Yes.
Now, isn't that beating the purpose though? So for example, someone like me, I'm a nobody, and I want to create you name it, instead of business. Where do I
Mhm.
start?
So it's very easy. I mean, even I am a nobody, as much as I'm
Not
lucky, my
true.
parents.
That's not
Yeah.
true. Come on. You're on the US side. Come on.
All right,
When
let's
people,
just get into maybe when I graduated from college and I was looking for a job. At that point is when I realized that, oh yes, I know my dad was working, he was in the military. I know my mother is a teacher, but can they really get me the job? That's when you actually know that this is. I know there are some people who their parents get them jobs. I mean, there are people who are very lucky, by virtue of the fact that you were born into this family, you're guaranteed you will forever work somewhere, But yeah, there are people who you're lucky, you get an education, and that's it. That's all that you're given in this life, and you have to make do with what you're given. And then you have to find out how best can I network to get to where I want to be.
that is interesting. You mentioned about some people are very lucky.
Yes.
If your father is Guru Kenyatta, surely you don't need to struggle. But now,
Yeah.
so let's talk to those people at the grassroots, okay? People in the
Mhm,
community, someone that,
mhm,
a young guy graduated and is setting up
mhm,
an IT company, and I know
mhm,
he's at network now. So where do you
mhm,
start? Because this is the kind of stuff you don't learn in school, do you?
mhm.
So
So
for you,
so if it's business, so you have to make sure that you have everything get everything together. You have to set up your company, you have to have all the relevant documents, and we know how in Kenya those are many documents. You have tax compliance, you have, CVs of your people, you have your company profile. I mean, you name it, licenses, name it. So you have to set up your company, have all these documents ready because they are all you need to have a, formal business and be able to get into this. And so what you need to also now do is start mapping out who do I want to supply to as a business in IT? Is it schools? You have to start somewhere. But even as you start somewhere, you have to have a plan. And so your plan has to start with, who am I approaching? Who do I want to talk to? Is it the corporates? And in corporates, am I looking at the SMEs? Am I looking at the blue chip corporates? And then once you map out whoever you want to target, then you have to find out who are the decision makers. And this is something that is very important. You just don't network with anybody, just because Tom, Dick, and Harry in XYZ company doesn't mean that that's the right person. You have to know who is the right person, who is going to make things move, And so this is the person that you want to look for. You want to research about this person. You want to get their contact details. And you want to now start engaging with them, which is what we call networking.
I like the way you have said you don't just network with anybody really, and I suppose
No.
that's where the skill comes now, isn't it? And so is it
Yes.
about? I mean, so how do I know that what now this is the right person? Helen, I want us to talk about
Mm-hmm.
someone who's very fresh from
Mm-hmm.
uh, let's say from Kisumu, okay, never
Yes.
been to Nairobi before, and he's
Mm-hmm.
come to Nairobi. He's got all the papers he needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So where I wanted to ask, how do you develop this kid? Because they don't teach in school, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's what I'm very interested in. To understand,
Mm-hmm.
where do we start?
Yeah, so I know that I worked in a maybe marketing agency, for instance, and the people I was supposed to network with in that role was the directors of the company, the CEOs. Then you also want to network with the marketing directors or marketing managers of the said companies. Basically that's it, because if the marketing manager likes you and they like your
Uh-huh.
ideas, then they're going to push you to procurement. They are going to push you to, and they are going to guide you on how can you make your proposal better so that we can be able to uh, give a winning proposition. Yeah, and if it's maybe it's job search. So job search, you also want to network with human resource personnel in an organization, or you want to also work with the CEOs, because when they are doing maybe strategic planning for the organization, they know we need to hire for this role in this year. Understand? And so who knows about hiring decisions? The HR person and the CEO is also very aware. So those are people you need to network with. And even if they've not planned for this job, in all organizations, they know gaps, there are gaps. I mean, and they know, like, if we ever get this sort of a person, I think this would really work. So imagine you now networking with this person, and they can see the value that you can bring to an organization. And this is what you're telling them you can do for them. I mean, you're creating a job for yourself. And I think what I can also say is that for the past 3 roles I have been employed in, they were not roles that were advertised. They were not roles that the organizations had plans to, in a near future. But from our engagement, they ended up giving me the jobs. Yeah. So you have to.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
just like that. I mean, I like that. So you mentioned about you created your opportunity yourself. So
Yes.
So should people wait until, for example, graduates? Should they wait till they finish school? That's when they start this kind of networking.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think you have an opportunity when you're in your 3rd year of school to get an internship or an attachment, and that's an opportunity to network with hiring managers, because sometimes they are looking to fill these positions. Maybe it's a company policy, they have to have interns, and sometimes they can actually create this opportunity because there is a need in the organization. That's a very good opportunity. And if you go and perform very well there, they can end up retaining you when you graduate finally. Another opportunity is when you're almost graduating. I personally got my first job before I finished my last paper before I graduated in college.
Did you know somebody?
Sorry?
So, did you know somebody there, or just you?
Oh my goodness. I was so new into this. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to tarmac. Tarmacking is not for me, in Jesus' name, And so what I did is that I collated this bunch of emails, So it was a massive database of emails, it was for directors. I don't even know where I got it from. By the way, I have it to date. It was for HR people, and my friends can attest me. I shared with them. I'm like, you know what? We've got to get these jobs. So what I did is I drafted this introductory email, and maybe it was very, nowadays I can do it better. No, because I was just fresh from school. But I was like, my name is Helen. This is what I do. This is what I've learned in school. I know I want to venture into this sort of, career line, and I'm looking for graduate entry positions. I think what motivated me is that when I was looking for an internship, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get an internship. And I think that's when I realized, because I thought, my family would get it for me, for instance. And I'm like, I never got an internship. So I was like, I'm on my own. So that's what I did. And this employer called me. He was actually the director of this security firm in Nairobi. And I remember he called me, and I was in Eldoret because I was in Moi University. And he's like, can we meet next week on Tuesday? Let me tell you, I took the bus. And I went to, and I remember we met at Westgate. And so he offered me the job. I was like, I'm finishing my last paper in April, so and start a date, and I'll be happy to join the next month. And that was it. Can you believe it? I was so excited.
Well,
yeah.
That makes it sounds very easy, but it's not really. So let's talk about your topic of job. No, seriously. I can't. Well, as I said, I can't tell how old you are now. You know that. So your story. I'm very serious, Helen. Your story many people will relate to, where people struggle to get an internship. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yes.
here you are now. You've got this
Mm-hmm.
amazing, unbelievable story, really, very, very motivating. So
Mm-hmm.
I suppose in this segment, I want to talk about networking for employment.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you're saying that you need to have the right people, the directors, the managers. How do you get these people? What kind of skill does someone need to start
Mm-hmm.
developing this kind of networks?
Yeah, so I think in the absence of a database, then you have to start collecting it. So I remember when I started now looking for my next job, I combined that with LinkedIn. So I had set up, of course, everybody knows you have to have a LinkedIn account. And by the way, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you have to create it tonight. So you go on LinkedIn and, of course, connect with the right people. You know, don't connect with nobody is going to help your life.
But is
I'm
LinkedIn
so
overrated?
sorry.
But Helen, is LinkedIn kind of overrated? I mean, when I told somebody about this talk, somebody told me, oh, LinkedIn is useless. I mean, everybody there is successful, but it's not the case, really.
Well, success is it's you can't success for me is not successful. I remember a while back I saw somebody saying people think I'm rich, but rich is also something that you can't put on a scale.
Yeah.
Rich to me, what I perceive as rich is not what perhaps you perceive as rich. So is it overrated? Maybe yes. Is there another platform you can network with professionals? No, none that I know of. So unfortunately, we are stuck with LinkedIn. And I think maybe we can put it out there to entrepreneurs. Why don't we have another platform that is competing? I mean, on social media, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, Snapchat, everything. But on professional, I mean, we only have LinkedIn. So love it or hate it, that's where you can connect with the right people, and everybody's on LinkedIn. Whether they are active is another question, but they are there, and whether you send a message to them today and they respond immediately or 2 weeks later, it's something. So I think that's where people can go too fast. So I was saying connect with the right people, and then so nowadays you can send a note with your connection request, and just a small note, and I think it's the character limit is capped, just to tell this person how do you know them, if you know them, and why do you want to connect with them. But I remember back in my time, well, I'm not so old, but
No, you're not. I was going to say that. No, you're not at all.
I'm not so old, but when I used to do it, there was no such thing. So it was you send a connection request, and for me, when somebody accepted, I had this blab ready to send to you. Hey, my name is Helen. I'm looking for new job opportunities. I'm very interested in careers in this line. Would you know? Something that in your organization that I can apply for. But that was then, and also now I've learned better strategies. And now when you're networking, don't be blunt. Don't be blunt. Don't go out asking for a favor as if you deserve one. I think now when you're starting, you go to LinkedIn, of course, connect with the right people, but you have to do homework with these people. You have to go through their profiles, look at whether you have anything in common. Oh, we went to the same college. Oh, hi, John. I can see we went to the same university. I'd really love to connect. Or, hi, John, I can see you're based in Mombasa, like I am right now, and I'm new in Mombasa, and I'd really love to connect with professionals. I can see you guys are really doing something so good in XYZ industry. You have to do your homework so that it looks like it's a relationship you're interested in. I mean, if you're flirting with a lady, you're telling them how good they are, how good they look. Oh my God, you look so good. So that they're like, hey, hold up, this person has really, they've done their homework. Yeah, you're right. I dress well. So it's the same relationship. You have to court this person. You have to dance in this, networking. So once they give you an ear, hey, now it's the time you start pouring, I'm actually looking to move jobs, and then they'll ask you, and then how you get their contact is, I'd be very happy to send you my CV for your review. Is it possible to get your email address? Jackpot. They send you their email address and you start the cultivation. Now you move to email. You go to email, you tell this person that, oh, it was very lovely connecting with you on LinkedIn. As promised, here's my CV. This is the kind of job I'm looking for. And, and then now you ask for a meeting, because that's how I used to do it. If somebody gives me the email address, I send them my CV and I request for a meeting. I'm like, let me know when I can come in for like a quick chat. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'll come in for a quick chat. Maybe you can give me tips on how to improve my CV, how to, navigate this job search. And people love helping. That's one thing I know, is that people love helping you. So because they know you're not asking directly for a job, then they come, then you wow them. Your work is now to wow them. This is what I've done. You give them your skills. This is what I'm skilled in. And then the relationship just develops. The next thing you know, they start asking you, would you be interested in doing, this for an organization? Then that's when you know this is what they are looking for,
But Helen, you make it
Yes.
sounds very easy. Right,
It is easy. It is so easy. It is so easy.
Are you saying that anyone who's out there that
Mhm,
got a particular qualification and doesn't have a job, it is their
mhm.
fault?
Uh, well, not entirely. Not entirely. Sometimes the course maybe you did. And I like telling graduates that don't be so rigid. So maybe let's say you did a course in nutrition. I know people who did nutrition, and I mean it's such a hard job getting a job in that industry. So, but what other skills do you have that you think you can use to get another job as you look for your dream job? Because not everybody has gotten to the level where they're like, wow, I'm really working my dream job. But you have to be doing something in the meantime. I know people who've done engineering, they've gone into sales. So it's looking into what skills do you have. I'm a very organized person. I am very proactive. I can really coordinate things. And you find yourself, you've gone into events. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really looking at such things.
Now, so you talked about LinkedIn, which is virtual, and I think that's the way
Mhm.
people are heading to. But
Yes.
come back to how things used to be before Corona.
Yes. Yes.
Where I had to do those kind of first meetings.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that now? Because okay, we will be internet actually is here to stay, and I think the wise, I think if you want to meet anyone really, you go online
Yes.
and you can find them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, though, that face to face is very important, isn't it?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
again, that's another skill.
Yes. And it's actually not for the faint-hearted. Personally, people tell me I'm an extrovert, but I get an energy drain being in front of people. So I personally categorize myself as an ambivert. So I like being in my own space, but if I get people that I'm aligned with, then I can get chatty. I can be the center of attention. So it's not an easy thing meeting people face to face, but in the end you have to do it. I mean, really, even if it's a job, you have to go for the interview. Even when I'm talking about the LinkedIn, eventually what you're actually looking for is to meet this person face to face. So it's something that you have to cultivate within yourself. And so one thing that I can say is that you also have to practice your elevator speech. You have to practice with yourself. What are you going to tell this person? Write notes down. They help you. um, And then also, maybe let's say you're going for a cocktail, those work events, because that's what used to be pre-corona. So I
Yes.
think the things, so I'm really thinking why you're going for that event is that maybe it's a work event, you've been sent by work, or it's something that you're really interested in. So maybe you decided, let me go listen to this talk, or let me go to this cocktail, whatever the reason is. So, but you're there for a reason. So what I usually tell people is that whatever event you go to, you have to be very passionate about what you say, about yourself, and what you do, because that's the vibe people are looking for. So you have to exude confidence when you're talking to people. You have to be very passionate. When I go out there and I'm talking about my current job, it's like it's my dream job, And so some of the comments I've gotten people
Carry
saying is
on.
that, yeah, sorry.
No, carry on, please.
Yeah, so some of the comments you find people talking about you when they see you talking about what you do is that, oh, you're very passionate about what you do. And this is something that they want in their team, and they're silently praying that, hey, I hope my employees talk like this about my company, I hope they talk about their work like this. So you have to be very positive, and also maybe another way I've seen people react to what I do in social events is, let's say I'm organizing this event, people watch how active you are, they watch you engaging in a team. And I've had people come to me and say, oh, especially in Mombasa, oh, you really are very aggressive, you're you've really worked hard for this event. And in fact, they usually ask, are you really from Mombasa?
I was going to ask. I was going to
Yes.
ask that because again, something else I'm getting from you. You don't lack confidence, really. You're a very confident person. And
No,
I'm going to ask again. I mean, in networking, you need that kind of confidence, isn't it?
you
So
do.
again, these things, Helen, these things. And look, okay, I don't live in Kenya anymore, but I went through my schooling until graduate level. I went through Kenya, and I remember in classrooms, okay, nobody talks about confidence. In fact, confidence is encouraged because in our culture, and again, I'm going to say that I know how old you are. You and
Yes.
I, during our time, you will be told you don't look somebody in the eye. If you look in the eye, it means that you're being disrespectful, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
again, so are we saying that universities or education system is failing us in terms of networking?
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. The education system does not build us to, look for jobs, look for opportunities. They might give us the opportunities, but teaching us how to go out there and
Yes.
grab the opportunity is a different skill altogether. So ideally, it's something that you have to learn for
From where?
yourself, especially, yeah,
So from where?
especially if.
How do you do that?
Mhm.
How do they learn that? So school, okay, you learn in school. Let me talk about
Mhm.
yourself. So where did this confidence come from?
And going back to talking about how me, I'm a very shy person. By the way, honestly, I'm a very shy person. But out there,
That
let me.
doesn't come across, to be honest.
But yeah, but out there, I'll be out there gassing myself. Out there talking positive things about myself, and it really opens the opportunity for somebody to be interested in this person, so then they get to start asking you questions. If when you know you're doing it right, they start asking you personal questions about yourself. So where did you grow up? They now want to know about you, and now that's your time to uh to to now sell yourself. That's the word I'm looking for. So you have to practice I think practice is what we're talking about. You have to
Yeah.
practice. I'm also in very much in sales and business development, and usually one trick I was told: if you're going to sell, if you want to start selling a product, you have to start with somebody, even if you lose that client, whatever, but it was your practice shot so that you get to know what sort of questions will somebody ask you, then you go back home and you ask yourself, now that question, how did I answer that question? Then you tell yourself, this is how I'm going to answer that question next time. I think there was a um, learning opportunity there. So it's something that you have to start and then you practice gradually. So you meet people, then you have to start. When you're in a cocktail, you can't stand by yourself. Nobody will approach you unless you're a pretty lady.
Yes, yes.
Or you're smartly dressed for a gentleman, so you have to mingle with the people, ask them, hey, how are you finding the event so far? Then they start asking you, so what do you do for a living? You tell them. If you don't do, you say, unfortunately, right now I'm not, I'm not working, but this is what I'm actually doing. Because even if you're not working, there has to be something you're doing. You're not just living around in the house. Unfortunately, because look at us when in between, if you lose a job in between and you've been out of work for a period of time, recruiters usually tell you have to say, what were you doing? Were you doing any consultancy? Did you read anything? Did you help some? Like, you have to be doing something so that you have something to talk about. You just can say, I'm just here looking for jobs. In the meantime, what are you doing?
And that's
Yeah.
what people say, isn't it? And
Yes.
I really come meet with people saying, I'm looking for a job, but they're not very specific what exactly they want.
Yes.
Helen, I'm very interested. So I've got two more questions. I'll let you go. I'm very interested in, you talked about elevator speech. Okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
so what is this? I mean, is it just something that you write about yourself, or is a script how to talk, or what exactly is it?
I think it's really a script, and it changes depending on the question. The question might be twisted. You can't cram entirely your elevator speech. You just alter it from time to time. It's like your organization's mission statement. Sometimes you say it right, sometimes you alter, maybe you change this word here and there. But it's really you selling yourself. My name is Helen, and we're not talking about your personal history. I'm a mother of three. It's professional. Okay, so what do you do? So you're a new entry level job seeker. So you start saying what you studied in school, and this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for an organization where I can, start practicing my skills, but you have to make it catchy, and I think there are very many uh, uh, options online that you can just search, because Google is your friend, by the way. Just go online and search elevation speech for a communications officer, elevation speech for a marketing officer, and you'll get these things online. Yeah.
Uh, wow. I mean, I don't even. I mean, I can sit and listen the whole day. It's quite interesting, the stuff you're talking about, because
Yeah.
they're not rocket science, really. They're things
No.
that you should know. But again,
Yeah.
I'll go back to your confidence matter. So, your family. So, do you say that the family played part in terms of your confidence?
Absolutely, yes, it does. But that doesn't mean that if your confidence was not built as a child, that then you'll forever not be a confident person. That's why we have, words like reparenting nowadays. You have to reparent yourself, because even your parents were not 100% the best. They had their own flaws. They had their own thinking of how parenting should be. It's the same way that we have our own thinking of how we parent our children, and it might not be the ideal 100%, but it's what we feel is best. But when your child grows up, then they might feel, oh, my mother was lacking here, my father was lacking here, but just because they were lacking in that department doesn't now make you be comfortable with that fact. How can you improve yourself? How can you reparent yourself to be a confident person? Yeah. And I think it's one of the things maybe that can be categorized into emotional intelligence. Yeah.
That's, yes. I like that, and that's again topic for another time. But so you're not very active on social media, but you're telling us about networking. So why is that? Why yourself? Why you're not very active in social media?
I personally use it. I think professionally, I use LinkedIn differently whenever I'm looking for an opportunity. But I've known how to lead the dance. How to approach somebody. For instance, like in my business, I usually like to talk to NGOs and private companies. I know they don't list their tenders often on public, but they do procure services and goods. So I'd love to start a conversation and I'd say, hi, I can see you're the procurement manager of XYG organization. I'm just curious to find how do you advertise for your tenders, how is that working for you? And you just start a conversation because you've asked a conversation about their work. So they tell you.
Yes.
And so you now start selling by telling them, these are the benefits if you let us advertise your tenders with us, Same thing. I think the other newest trick I've learned with job searching is that you see a job advertisement online. So XYZ company is looking for let's say, communications officer. So, but this person, this organization is going to get piles and piles and piles of CVs. Okay, so how are you going to win through all those CVs that are going to be sent? One time, I tried applying for this KRA entry-level grant. My goodness. I was submitting a hard copy of my application, and let me tell you, there are boxes upon boxes upon boxes of applications. So how are you going to get this job? I know you've even done your, master's program. Nobody cares. You have to network. So one thing that I've been told is that maybe you've seen a job description, and so you have to try find a question that you're going to ask about this job description. So this company has advertised for this job, and you're curious. I can see you're mentioning that this person will be responsible for reaching out to partners.
Helen.
Yeah.
These things, people do them, but they don't work. Come on, let's be real. I mean, you're very academic, but let's take an example of that KRA job you mentioned, because everyone says that, I'm looking for work, but you're not going anywhere. But when someone listens to you, you make it sound so easy.
It's not so easy. I like going this story for the lion and the antelope. Every single morning, the lion wakes up. It knows it has to outrun the fastest antelope. And every single morning, the antelope wakes up. It knows it has to outrun the fastest lion, So you have to be better. You have to strive to be better. You have to have strategies, how can I do today better? How can I get a job today? You have to really want it, and it's not just applying for a job and leaving it there. No, absolutely not. Your chances of getting that job are very slim. Even I tell tenderpreneurs, people who apply for tenders, Sawa, you have your own company, but you have to tender, you have to know these people. By the way, nobody has ever stopped you from visiting government offices. Nobody. Make a call and say, by the way, mi hata nilikuwa nataka to tukutane nikuelezee what we do. By the way, what's the worst that can happen? They'll say no. But you'll know how to do it better tomorrow. But I know I have all the things I'm telling you about, I have done them and they have worked. They have worked. So you've seen this job description. Find this HR person, find this director on LinkedIn, you know. Let me tell you one thing. Friendship is the greatest form of corruption. It's the greatest form of corruption in this world, and not just Kenya. Just by virtue that I know this person, it's corruption already, you know? It
You're
is
very right. Yes.
corruption.
You're very
Sometimes
right.
you've not even given this person money. Me, I think my second job, even the HR called to coach me. So Helen, there's this role, but they're really looking for somebody who has to be ABCD. So make sure when you're being interviewed, these are my friends. I don't even know this person. I don't even know them. Then there was also another very short stint I did at a tech firm. I also connected with this recruiter because that organization was using a recruiter. So recruiters are also good networking people when you're looking for jobs because people hire them. And let me tell you, even in this organization, the recruiter is calling you and asking, Helen, who else can we reach out to get people in it? And let me tell you, there are so many people looking for this job. Yet,
Wow.
even them, they struggle to get them. You understand? Even them, they struggle. So, have you networked with Helen? Helen could have maybe recommended you. You understand? Have you networked with this person? They could remember that, hiya, by the way, Otieno told me he does communication. Why can't I reach out to them? You understand? Which also gets me to another tip in networking. Just because you reached out to somebody today doesn't mean that you have networked with this person. Networking is a full-time job. You have to keep following up with these people. You've seen they've posted on WhatsApp status. Laugh. And then you say, hey, how are you doing? You're still at XYZ company. Hey, how are things? Hakuna kazi imepatikana. Follow up. If they've posted something, a quote, you say, hey, this is really inspiring. In fact, that's how you'll remain top of mind. Companies do it so well. Company they give you pens, they give you notebooks. Why? So that every time you're looking, you remember higher Kenatco taxes. You have to be at the top of their minds all the time. So that when an opportunity comes up, they remember, oh, I remember Joy. By the way, this can be so good for Joy. Yeah.
That is interesting. I mean, you make me feel bad about myself. I'll be very, very fine. 10 years ago. Because again, these are things you don't learn in school. And for those who are listening to us, this is Antelope University School of Soft Skills. And today I'm talking about networking with how to call it inspirational Helen. I mean, have you written a book, Helen?
Hopefully one day.
So you're planning to write something?
If it'll make me money, not as a hobby, it has to make me money.
You've already made money. You are in entrepreneurship. You've got lots of money. Come on.
Anyway.
No, Helen, you
you
made, when people talk about entrepreneurship, in Kenya particularly, so you are among those people then.
I've tried my hand at it. What I can say is that I moved to Mombasa in 2018 in February, and I was expecting my baby, and I think I had just delivered my second child in May. And on our website, by the way, because I have staff who work there, and they were uploading tenders, and I saw there was this very small tender. Well, yeah, it was a very small tender for one of one of the big networks in Kenya. I think I can mention it was the Aga Khan network. So one of their arms was, I think, trying to do some training for youth in vocational training. So they were looking to train hairdressers and carpenters and tailors. So one of the tenders that floated was for supply and delivery of hairdressing equipment and materials and the beauty products. And it was such a small thing. And they were just asking for a request for quotation. Quotation to quotation. So me, I remember I have this friend who in Nairobi has a shop downtown that sells these things, and it's a big shop. So I was like, Grace, Ebo, hook me up with this quotation. Imagine, that's the only thing I did. I came back, I marked up with my percentages. You didn't know anyone. I didn't know anybody. I compiled my tender documents nicely. It was a very small document. It was not a proposal they were looking for. It was a quotation. So I attached my company profile, my, the normal statutory documents, and my quotation. Hiya, do you know, they emailed back with what is it called? The order, whatever. I was so excited. And then I started asking maybe it's fake, or where will I get the capital? And luckily I had some capital, so I was able to purchase these things. And I delivered, and I told them I delivered.
You took the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, some of these things are very simple. They're very simple. The problem is you don't want to start.
Helen, there's a story now in Kenya concerning the guy who was happened to walk outside Camry. Was it Camry or I don't know what it was? And he got... So,
I'm just laughing, but
you know the story.
Yes, I've read about the story. It's probably not true because maybe that's somebody now who has been found in a scandalous story. But this person definitely knew somebody.
Right.
Definitely knew somebody. It's really the unfortunate part of business, but you have to know somebody. This somebody who is the person who's going to give you the budget.
And that's the point of networking, isn't it? To know.
It's the point of networking, to know these people, to be friends with these people, so that you gain from the relationship. That's the purpose of networking. It has to be gainful. And it is a give and take.
Wow.
It is a give and take.
Last segment for me, Helen. I mean, it's quite interesting. Again, I just feel bad that this stuff they're not to be taught in school. They're not. And everyone goes. We spend lots of time in school, but when you're coming out and you don't know what this guy was telling me, it's a tragic, isn't it? Something that shouldn't be mentioned back. Look. Yeah. So. When I was talking about today's topic, a friend mentioned, and like social people talk about social media, people talk about social media like that it's a platform now that can give opportunities, but it does not work. These are being said by people that have been lucky, but in the real sense, social media does not work when you look for opportunity. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with that. I think it can work. It just depends with your strategy for your social media. If your social media is for memes, it is for memes, unfortunately. But today, if I decide to just be friends with business people, how is that a problem? And my work is to just go there, commenting on their stories and DMing them. You see, if your social media is for DMing women, it is for DMing women. How are you going to get an job opportunity from DMing women about,
just a disclaimer, both women and men.
Both women and men. Of course. And so it depends with your strategy for social media. What is your strategy for social
and it
media?
works actually. And
Yes.
people who mention and people who DM people for their favors, they do succeed, don't they? If you send her
Yes.
a little email or a DM message, she will
Yeah.
respond.
Yeah. I remember the other day I networked with that a trustee of a foundation because I'm in international fundraising now. So I connected with a trustee of a foundation. It's an international foundation, but it so happened that one of the trustees was a very famous Kenyan, I was like, hey, this is a Kenyan. I have to know this person. And by the way, I just DM'd them on Facebook. And I just told them about our organization. This is what we do. I'd be very happy to connect with you. Like, let me know when can we have a quick. It's always a quick chat. We're not here to waste somebody's time, And when you're talking to them, like I remember for that particular person, I was like, I would be so interested in knowing more about your foundation. Like when's a good time to know about your foundation? When can we talk? And this person wants to give information about their foundation. So they told me, oh, hi, Helen, I'm happy to chat with you on Thursday and Friday. Here's my number. And I have a number of a trustee of a foundation, international foundation. Now, and that was my Facebook. So it depends. It depends on your strategy for social media, but it can work.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
last question for me, Helen. So, what do you tell people that are at home right now, listen to us, and I want to mention the word graduate. This is a graduate with computer science and has been looking for work for the last 5 years. What do you tell them?
I'd tell them that I think one of the things is that it's never too early, it's never too late to start networking. You can start whenever, wherever. Then the other thing is that everywhere you go, everybody you interact with is an opportunity for networking. So be mindful of how you talk, how you, do your business around people because everybody is watching. Even let's even look at celebrities who make it in Kenya. It's because of what they do. So you have to use every opportunity. If you're working somewhere, your colleagues are your next networks because your colleagues will move on to other jobs. Do you think they'd want to take you with you? Based on how you behave at work. Maybe you're the grumpy employee. Maybe you will show up late. Maybe you're the one who your boss always complains about. Everybody's watching. Your HR is going to move to another place. Directors, CEOs move. Do you think you're the sort of person that somebody would want to employ, somebody would want to
What about the jobless?
work with?
What about someone that has never been employed?
If you've never been employed, even your family, even your fellow students that you went to college, those are your first points of contact for networking.
And Helen,
Yes.
important for me to say that. Like we have never met, but I was connected to you through a friend that we both in common. So
yes.
So it shows that there's practicality of this.
Yeah. So there's practicality. And so today you might side chat me and tell me to train you on how to do tenders. You understand? And then tomorrow you'll make money out of it. Wasn't it through networking?
Yes.
You understand? So it is how we related in that relationship, how you're going to follow up with this relationship with this person, depending on what's important to you. And then just nurturing the relationship always.
Wow. Yeah. This has been unbelievable. I mean, so 3 things I'm getting from here. First of all, is people love helping, and people should not be embarrassed to ask. Because most of the time people should say, and I use the word Swahili, minute after two kazi yoyote. People are not very clear what exactly they want, isn't it?
You have to know what you want. I was listening to another lady we went to high school with, and I was very I was very excited. She was saying that when she started doing her job application right from college, she was very intentional. She knew she wanted to work for an international organization. By the way, and she would never apply to a local company. Because why? She wants somewhere she will travel or to the India office, to the Nigeria office. You're here saying you want ile tu utapewa. Utapata ya mjengo, and then what are you going to tell someone? Because that's what you asked for. You understand? So you have to know what you want, and then it's actually a strategy. You have to know your audience. You have to know your plan, and this is how I'm going to approach this person. You understand? Yeah.
Wow, Helen. Uh, every time you speak, something comes to my mind. And this is the last part. This last part. So
Okay.
seriously, and I'll let you go. I know it's getting late in Kenya as well there. So those people that are they're never specific in terms of what they want. By the way, again, just for sake of the viewers, I got my job through LinkedIn actually. So someone that, so it does work. But someone's at home right now, and yes, what you mean that after two kazi too. So I know I asked this, and I'm going to ask it again. They've got to be clear what they want, and maybe they need to have that elevator speech about themselves.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to really know what you want. You have to write it down. Actually, studies say that if you write down your goal, as in you're a really focused person, you're better off than this person who says, this is what I want to do. So even as you're doing your goals for 2021, because it's a good time to be doing that, these are things that you have to write down. And remember, your goals have to be very specific. Specificity is important. You cannot say, I just want a job. What job? You have to be very specific. What is this job about? Where do you want to work? Is it in Kenya? Is it outside Kenya? You understand? Is it an NGO? Is it a corporate? You have to be very specific about the sort of job you want to work for. You understand? So, is it an SME? Because also, we know challenges for SMEs vis-a-vis, corporate jobs. We know challenges for government. You understand? We know packs for government. So you have to be very specific so that once you're specific about the goal, then it is very clear to follow through on that. It is very clear to see how can we make this goal achievable. Is it measurable? All those things. Is it smart? Is it achievable? Yes, it's achievable. Yes.
So you mentioned about so you mentor young people sometimes. You do that, right? Is that something you do?
Yes, I think, in fact, I've remembered. So my second job, I doubled up as a personal assistant. And then I got to realize that, this is definitely not what I wanted, because it's very easy to get stuck in a role.
Yes.
It's very easy. And moving out of a role is so hard. It's super hard. And I remember, because I had networked with so many people, and the only thing that featured on my CV was a PA, then I used to get a lot of, job opportunities for PA. Even the people I networked with, they're like, hey, there's a PA role here. Would you be interested in applying? And it got to a point where I was like, no, unfortunately, that's not what I'm looking for right now. Right now, I am looking for experts. You have to be very specific. Otherwise, now you'll be a receptionist all of your life. Okay, no offense to those people working, as long as it's something that you're interested in. But you have to be very specific in what you're interested in. Just today, I think I got a call from one of the regional directors in Mombasa for a very corporate company. They're asking me, but Helen, what sort of a job? Can we discuss sort of a job you'd be interested in doing?
You've got quite good names in your networks then.
Yes. And I think what I learned is that don't ever throw contacts. Like you see, people give you business cards. You have to always keep those cards. Forget about keeping the cards. Save the number in your phone, because one thing that I've learned is that you never know when you need to talk to this person. You might have met in a restaurant, for instance, but they might be your potential client for a job you get tomorrow. You understand? So you always have to keep these contacts. In your current job, wherever you're working, all these people you're emailing back and forth, have you saved their contacts? Ama you're waiting to move jobs, then you realize,
Yes.
by the way, yeah. Then you start trying to get their contact from that organization. Do you think they'd give you? So
Helen, you're very good.
one mistake we make is that we never build our own database. Yeah.
Yes,
You have to. You're CC'd in an email from a boss from which save that contact.
Wow.
The people have yeah.
No, please carry on. I'm just saying that it's. I just again. So where do people get here? Because what you're telling me is very, very useful, and I know I asked this and you didn't answer, and I'll ask it again. So do you do some mentorship? Do you like mentor young people or people that look for opportunities? Is that something that you do, or I don't know? I'm just asking.
I do mentor off the cuff. I don't have a structured way. I think I usually let this potential mentee tell me what they'd want to be mentored
But
in.
where do they get you? I mean, are you available?
Yes, I'm available on Facebook. I'm Helen Njoroge. Unfortunately, I'm not on Twitter. I love talking too much. I can't cap my words. I'm on Instagram as She Helen, and I'm also on LinkedIn. So you can connect to me. I think the best place would be I think Instagram, you can send a message even though you're not friends, and then maybe you can decide. But you see, if you send me a friend request and we don't have mutual friends and I don't know who you are, sometimes it might be tricky. LinkedIn is also very good. You can send somebody a message. And the best way to send somebody a message is tell them, oh, I listened to your conversation on Mtandao Varsity. Give context to the conversation, and then give your request, so that somebody can know, oh, this person really knows me in this manner. You understand? Or we interacted with this person in this platform. And then at least it can give a background for, connecting.
Well, I will tell you this, Helen, as we wind up, is that next year I'll definitely come to you. I think you've got lots to offer. And and on a serious, I would like you to, I don't know if we can speak, after this, but I would like you to, to come to the platform. Can have like maybe like 2 or 3 trainings, once a week, whatever it is. Because
Absolutely.
people, jobs are there, but just people don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I didn't think of the setup, and it's getting dark now.
Yeah.
But and also I've got a small baby, and I know she'll be here shortly. I cannot thank you enough, Helen, for being here. So I spoke to Joy Kivata, who introduced me to you, and she told me, "Oh, Kevin, you're going to love it." And actually, I've not just loved it, and it's just unbelievable, really. And thank you so very much, for coming to the podcast. And as I said, I'll reach out to you again next year, see whether we can build up something. You've got money, so that's not the problem. So, don't see you ask anything. You've got money, which is good. But yes, your last words, Helen.
Kevin, it's been such a real pleasure connecting here. I'm very passionate about youth empowerment, economic empowerment, personal development. It's something that, whatever topic, I think I'm down for discussing in your platform. This has been very, very exciting. I'd encourage people who want to talk more about this, you can reach out to me. I'm very happy to help anybody who needs my help.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Helen. And for those watching, this has been Antelope Varsity School of Soft Skills. And today I'll be talking to Helen Njoroge, who's currently based in Mombasa. And I would call her network expert. Because you are.
Thank you so much.
Things you have said here, it's what many people would say, but it's about how you pack them out. But listen, well, thank you so much, Helen, and I really wish you Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon.
And you too. Thank you, Kevin.